Good afternoon. My name is Henry Young. I'm Senior Director for Policy at BSA, the Software Alliance, and thanks for joining us to talk about quantum computing and encryption. Today, I'm joined by Alice Fakir, who is Partner, Federal Cybersecurity Services at IBM, Rob Blair, General Manager, National Mission and Emerging Technology at Microsoft, and Richu Channakeshava, Senior Product Manager at Palo Alto Networks. BSA has recently published a document on quantum computing and encryption, and really what we're focused on is that today quantum computers cannot break the encryption algorithms we use, but they will in the future. And so to be able to deliver innovative solutions to enterprises and government agencies securely, the cybersecurity community needs to transition to new algorithms. For those not following this issue that closely, this is going to take a long time. The United States government has set a goal for itself of protecting its information by 2035, and experts agree that that timeframe is aggressive but achievable. In this context, BSA recommends that governments start taking action. That is, create national strategies and implementation roadmaps, launch consortia with industry, government agencies, and academia to work together to solve the most pressing challenges, create incentives for private sector organizations to transition to PQC, and really think about developing a quantum-ready workforce. But the fact is, most of this work is really going to be driven by partners in industry, and that's what we're here to talk about today. So what I'd like to do is dive right in with the first question over to Alice. When we're thinking about post-quantum cryptography, why is it such an important issue in cybersecurity?
Well, PQC, it's what we call post-quantum cryptography for short, are the cryptographic protocols that would remain secure even in the presence of powerful quantum computers. So we're talking about safeguarding sensitive information and ensuring the long-term integrity of digital communication. The way we see it, cryptography is the backbone on which cybersecurity rests. We've seen the cryptographic standards that are used daily by everyone in computer systems and telecommunications. It's really covering 91% of the world population. And so these standards are used to protect privacy and keep conversations and data confidential.
Thanks. Rob, I want to ask you, when we're thinking about PQC and we're thinking about national strategies, readiness roadmaps, why should the effort of creating and publishing national strategies be a priority for U.S. policymakers and governments around the world?
Thanks, Henry, and really thanks to BSA for drawing attention to this issue. Your question get ahead of the curve. It takes a very sophisticated quantum computer to actually break existing cryptography, and that's going to be multiple years out. But the amount of time it takes for private sector entities and government entities, for that matter, to identify which parts of its cryptographic systems that it's going to need to update needs to start now. That means going into systems, finding where vulnerable algorithms currently exists, and beginning to build the systems to be able to quickly migrate to PQC algorithms once they're developed and disseminated, which should be in the very near future.
So within the context of developing these national strategies, obviously work has to be done across the private sector. Richu, I'm wondering if you could share how your company is using quantum technologies, how you think they're going to be used in the future, and how it's going to kind of impact the marketplace.
Yeah, absolutely. So readiness roadmap specifically is going to be critical in ensuring that these algorithms are safely adopted and is adopted across the industry. So here at Palo Alto Networks, we are kind of leaning forward on the quantum security angle. We also know that no one cybersecurity company or government agency, critical infrastructure can tackle this challenge alone. So we've participated at the White House organized roundtable on post-quantum cryptography. We've also joined the industry partners in sharing our perspective as part of the NCCOE. We've been part of federal agencies globally in making our recommendations on what these readiness principles need to look like. And kudos to BSA for also driving some of those very strong initiatives. Our emphasis here has been kind of four-pronged approach. The first is open standards-based is critical to build an infrastructure that's highly reliable and stable. Security capabilities that need to be fully integrated in existing solutions. So there's trust in adopting these solutions. There's no retrofitting point products and so on. PQC security capabilities should need to be deployed based on risk profiling. Of course, identifying the high-risk users, the high-risk data, critical infrastructure, and so on. And agility, crypto agility as the bedrock or the framework, which if one cipher were to fall, we can seamlessly migrate to the next available cipher or algorithm. So that's been our approach.
So the National Institute of Standards and Technology is going to complete the international effort to develop and standardize PQC algorithms later this summer. I'm wondering, Alice, if you could kind of talk about what an important step that is and how you see that kind of launching the rest of this work from that platform.
Yeah, thank you, Henry. Many people are already aware that IBM has been an innovation partner working with NIST since 2016 on development of these post-quantum cryptographic algorithms. Many are unaware that IBM helped to develop all 4 of these algorithms that are being published by NIST. And so we've shown a lot of innovation and durability in the market. We've worked alongside White House staffers and the NIST NCCOE to communicate some of the readiness and plans that we think are part of the platform requirements to achieve post-quantum cryptography. We have contributed to the development of a migration path to achieve PQC through IBM's Open Quantum Safe toolset, and it's intended to help organizations explore the path to migration through discovery, analysis, and implementation of these algorithms.
Thanks. Rob, of course, none of this work actually gets done without, people. And I'm wondering if you could share kind of Microsoft's views on the importance of a quantum-ready workforce.
Oh, well, unfortunately, when people hear the word quantum, they have a tendency to get a little bit scared. But in this case, quantum PQC it's not really a quantum technology. It's a classical computing technology. So it's important that people, first of all, become educated on what quantum is and what PQC really is. Then it becomes a much more manageable process through the normal cryptographic systems. The updates become standardized, even the logging and the tracking of the necessary updates become standardized. But it's that initial education about what quantum is and what PQC really is. It's incredibly important. Now, that education and that the quantum aware workforce has to happen both within the private sector and in the government sector. And sometimes those are different skills. Government relies on the private sector for a lot of its cryptographic systems, and that means government needs to be able to identify which partners it needs to be working with most immediately, with how to spread out some of that work across different partners, and then internally how to prioritize which systems move most quickly to PQC. The government's already begun to lay some of that out in President Biden's executive orders around moving to cryptographic PQC systems. And it's incredibly important that the government continues to move forward on those roadmaps. That means working with Congress to make money available, not just money, but authorization for some of those moves available. And that means some of those, the quantum skills have to be transferred to congressional staff who often don't have technological background to be able to understand the incredible importance and the need for the dollars, the funding.
Richu, from industry's point of view, Palo Alto's point of view, what can industry and governments do to drive the transition to PQC?
Yeah, that's a great question, Henry. So I can talk about some of the internal initiatives or within our company, as well as what we've offered for our partners and customers as well. So some of the internal initiatives have been around educating and partnering with other product and engineering and, of course, account teams in the company to emphasize the quantum-sized impact on cryptography. So as Rob just shared, quantum computing is a good for the humanity. It is meant for accelerating some of the complex problems that classical computers would have taken years to solve. So given that opportunity that we have, what we also have to look at is the quantum-sized impact on cryptography. So within that, we are looking at designing and building modular solutions that include quantum-safe libraries, protocol adoption across VPN, SSL, and others, of course, allowing products to leverage these existing modules in a fast-paced and a secure solution mechanism. So for our partners and customers, what we made is progress in these 4 areas. One would be policy. As I mentioned, we've participated and influenced lawmakers at the White House Quantum Security Roundtable. We're also part of the NCCOE and amongst 30 other private sector participants. Within product, We are one of the first to support NIST post-quantum ciphers, up to 6 of them, in securing our VPN tunnels, which have been the foremost solution sought out to protect against harvesting attacks, which is the top attack at this point, given the potential of a cryptographically relevant quantum computer. Also, the crypto agile framework, this has allowed our customers to make a seamless migration should one of these algorithms crack. Now, from an advisory role, we are taking a position that global agencies can depend on. We've participated at the RSA. We've actually won the interop for the early quantum solutions, as well as we've participated in Edge 24 Security Summit and so on to make advances in the conversations for quantum safe technologies. And in terms of educational content, we have video series ranging for CISOs and CIOs all the way to documentation and readiness recommendations on our website.
Alice, we've talked a lot about the challenges, and one thing that folks are thinking about is if they have legacy IT systems, how is that going to affect their ability to effectively manage the transition to PQC?
On the topic of workforce readiness, IBM is committed to skill 30 million people globally by 2030 in things like AI, cloud, cybersecurity, and quantum technologies. IBM has helped to develop a suite of tools in support of these legacy transitions. The reality is a lot of these assets may or may not require upgrading to cryptography. IBM has developed a set of tools like IBM's Quantum Safe Explorer, which helps to conduct discovery and classify data by assessing their existing cryptographic inventory. By doing this either actively or passively, we can help identify what needs to be migrated to PQC. We're able to observe and analyze crypto agility through our IBM Quantum Safe Advisory tool, and further enabling remediation through this capability we've developed for implementing almost like a plug and play to drop in these algorithms against a known set of software assets in a library that we maintain. Path to migration is certainly something that's very doable. It's not something that we take lightly in terms of the importance of it in identifying which assets need that migration, and we can help to develop a roadmap that suits the timelines of government.
Rob, if we come back together a year from now and you've been successful, what would you think would be the keys to that success?
Thanks, Ernie. And first of all, I think not being successful isn't an option here. We must be successful in this endeavor. Right now, it's highly probable that folks who want to decrypt sensitive data are storing sensitive data or potentially sensitive data in the hopes and the expectation that a cryptographically relevant quantum computer is going to be developed in the not too distant future. So we have to be successful in this process. Part of that's going to be coming up with that tiered, prioritized system to identify what needs to be upgraded and what doesn't need to be upgraded. Part of it's going to be educating folks across the spectrum, from congressional staff to executive branch staff to folks within the private sector, about what upgrading to PQC actually means and how it's going to cost. This is not an endeavor that any one party or any one section of society and the economy is going to be able to do on its own. This is truly a whole of society effort. And that means we all need to start working together more aggressively to improve education, build those communities of effort across those different parts of the economy, and moving forward in a way that's going to get us to a point where we're protecting our sensitive information from those who want to decrypt it and do us harm.
Richu, what are the most common questions you receive from your customers about PQC, and how are you addressing those today?
Henry, the top question I'm sure every vendor, every industry out there is receiving is, how soon can we anticipate a quantum attack? So that's our top question. I think to answer that question, you have to think through how quantum computing is accelerating, how the innovation in quantum computing is accelerating. We see IBM Osprey, which can accommodate 433 qubits. We're looking at Atom, which can accommodate 1,000 qubits. So the advancement year over year has been significant. And we understand that if we are just a couple of years away from perhaps a talk about a cryptographically relevant quantum computer that can break the existing algorithm that's majorly in use across the internet, the RSA, right? So given that concern, and of course the other questions about if my data is harvested, what can an attacker really decrypt later, and what can they do with that? So the concern is, once this data is harvested and decrypted, is it going to be data leak issue? Is it going to be a data breach issue? Is there potential for impersonating a service certificate and then acting or posing as a legitimate service? Is there other concerns of social engineering attacks? Should personal identifiable information about employees from an industry get leaked? There's a potential for a targeted campaign for a social engineering attack. Of course, while these are futuristic quantum acceleration-based concerns and threats, we also see another side of conversation, which I think is critical to talk about, is yes, as we migrate to post-quantum or quantum-safe algorithms, post-quantum cryptography, we are talking about today's attacks, which are malware and phishing attacks that can also be part of these encrypted sessions. So you see that Google Chrome, Mozilla, as well as Edge browsers that have adopted hybrid PQCs. And you see more and more enterprise applications. Now, Zoom just announced adoption of PQCs. And we will see more enterprises adopting post-quantum ciphers. And with browsers and applications supporting post-quantum ciphers, today's attacks can also be part of these SSL or HTTPS sessions. So that's another potential threat that I want to bring attention to. And at Palo Alto Networks, we are looking at both sides of potential attacks and thinking through solutions and advising our customers on how they can secure from future quantum attacks, as well as existing attacks that can migrate and leverage quantum sessions.
Alice, we've talked some about the risks, but where are you thinking about the opportunities? Where are you helping your clients explore the use of quantum?
IBM is exploring the use of quantum technology to solve for problems that classical computers can't, such as being able to analyze terabytes of unstructured data for use in industries like drug development, financial service transactions, and especially in the cybersecurity domain. In 2022, IBM's mainframe Z16 became the industry's first quantum-safe system. Now, that said, PQC is a little different. It's a more sophisticated encryption method that is designed to withstand a future quantum computer breaking or hacking certain kinds of encryption in use today. At the same time, leveraging PQC will give us confidence in advancing quantum computing so that we can reap the benefits of this new technology and solve for problems like advanced weather forecasting, climate change, electronic materials discovery, and for use in artificial intelligence. It can also enable a second method of communication for things like traffic optimization where GPS is limited. So it's a very exciting space to be exploring where this technology can be used to improve our livelihood. At the same time, the need to ensure that we're doing it in a secure way.
We've talked about some of the scary outcomes associated with quantum computers, but there's also a quantum future that delivers a suite of exciting advances. How is Microsoft thinking about those opportunities?
Thanks, Henry. I think, first of all, it's important to maybe level set on what we think quantum is going to bring to society and what it's not. First of all, we think AI, and actually we are all seeing AI right now, bringing transformational changes across almost every sector of society in a very broad and exciting way. With quantum, we expect its application to be much more specific and probably as profound, but more specific within certain verticals. For instance, advanced materials discovery. We think the ability of quantum computers to really model the building blocks of life is incredibly exciting and will lead to hopefully new materials, new medicines, and the like. But I think it's important that we all baseline hopefully what quantum is and what it's not. Not every quantum architecture today is going to scale into cryptographically relevant or the utility scale error-corrected quantum computers that will lead to those transformational changes within those verticals. So one of the key points that the government can do right now is help actually build a way to measure which technologies are going to be scalable and which are not, which might be nice science projects today, but aren't going to lead to those profound changes in society and the economy in the future.
Richu, so we've talked some about the challenges, but I'm also wondering how Palo Alto is helping prepare its customers for a quantum future.
Thank you for that question, Henry. So from a policy perspective, I think we have talked about how Palo Alto Networks is making recommendations at the White House. We have been part of NCCOE by NIST from a product perspective, what I want to emphasize on is we believe that there are 5 key requirements to actually having a quantum safe solution, quantum safe infrastructure, and this would be applicable for verticals or industries across the board, be it a federal agency, be it a financial customer, healthcare, and so on. The 5 key aspects that I want to mention is first, thinking through your inventorying requirements. So cryptographical inventory is going to be your step 1 to quantum readiness, because that will actually take you to a place where you can now categorize your high-risk users and data and so on. A second step that we recommend is going to be that transition and the framework required built on crypto agility to move forward with post-quantum cryptographic algorithm adoptions. The third one, we believe, which is a quantum key distribution solution that's built within your framework of VPN into your backbone. The fourth one, we believe, is the key here, which NIST is just starting to consider around the quantum random number generator, or the seed material that goes into key generation. So that is going to be critical, and we see the industry also converging around that. And the last step, of course, is entirely uplifting the PKI, the public key infrastructure built on certificates, CAs, and authorities, and so on. So migrating them to post-quantum digital signatures is going to be another key piece of completing the infrastructure transition to a quantum safe world.
I'd like to thank my panelists for their time this afternoon. I think we really hit on most of the important topics on that transition to PQC. Yes, there are some challenges, but it sounds like many opportunities both to improve security and also deliver new and innovative solutions to our customers.